Hi, my name's David Rodigan. I first started DJing as a schoolboy in 1968, 69, when I was 17, 18, at school discos, youth clubs, friends' parties. And by that time there was a real groundswell of interest in reggae music from all sorts of kids. It wasn't a West Indian, well, it was obviously a West Indian thing in the sense that it was the music came from the West Indies, but a lot of kids from the major cities started to buy these records, and they went into the British pop charts. By 1969-70, there were a lot of pop chart smashes, because we all went out and bought this music because it fascinated us. I first got into reggae in the 60s, 1964. I heard a song called "My Boy Lollipop," and I just thought it was crazy. In the early 60s, it was vibrant, very exciting. It was a new music, it was a new time, it was a new generation, and the music had a lot of energy.
Many years ago, in the 80s, I was in Channel 1. They had a dub room at the side of the main studio, and that's where I first heard this and cut it straight onto a dub plate. This is not the dub plate mix, but this is a song that I will always love. This is Gregory Isaacs, a thing called... If you're not reggae music, give me one hand in the air. If you're not reggae, one hand in the air. Give me some signal for Gregory. Yes, Mr. Gates said. Out to Mike, you out of your Channel 1. Somebody said, one, Roddy.
The difference between here and Jamaica is that here, Europe, is a very, very young audience that are deeply into the roots side of the music. They take a bit of bashment, but they're much more into what I would call the original sound of real, authentic reggae. And that's reflected in the fact that they may come to it via Sean Paul or something really obvious, but they then find out about Treasure Island, Studio One, and so on, and they start digging deep. And that's happened throughout Europe, so there are a lot of young European sound systems. Real authentic reggae was about, as far as I'm concerned, finding songs that were glorious obscurities, songs that weren't generally available, that had been released years and years ago in Jamaica and in the UK, that had a groundswell of popularity at the time, but has subsequently been lost, if you like, not reissued. So essentially the album consists of those sort of recordings that when people rediscover them, they find out, I hope, that they are magnificent. And then also recent hits from the last 8 or 12 months that reflect the term real authentic reggae, with music with a message, a positive message, and that beat that is distinctively reggae as opposed to bashment, dancehall, or call it what you will, some of which is closer to banging house than it is to reggae in my opinion. So that's why it's called real authentic reggae.
Big youth and Gregory Isaacs, easy Dave Hill. My mind in such a state. Yo! Thank God I've got some life left. I'm there, like baby out the land. Oh,
I got involved with BBE because Peter asked me a couple of years ago, well, more than that, if I would compile an album called Kings of Reggae. I did one side, one CD, and Sting from New York did the other. And it was very interesting, and there was a good response to it. So he said, when I started talking about the fact that there was, in my opinion, lots and lots of really magnificent recordings that were no longer available and should be available, as opposed to the very obvious chart records everyone knows, Peter said, compile an album. And I said, you're wrong. And that was Real Authentic Reggae Volume 1, which was very well received critically, and now we've got Volume 2.
Yes, yeah! Under the season change, Rootikal stay the same when they want from me. I'm a system and a Rastafari.
Best memories in my radio DJing career would be going to Jamaica in January 1979, which was for me a real musical pilgrimage. I went there to interview a number of artists and record them for my show on BBC Radio London. And I then returned to Jamaica frequently, but most notably in 83, 84, 85, when I was working for Capital Radio, and I did a number of radio programs on Jamaican radio with Barry G, the Boogeyman, and they were clashes where we sort of had an on-air battle. And Jamaica loved that. It was broadcast in London as well, and that generated a lot of excitement. So those days on air in Jamaica and England were very, very exciting. Also on BFBS, British Forces Broadcasting Service, which was very well received in Germany, because a lot of young German kids heard that show and got into reggae music via that show, because at that stage, during those times in the early 80s, the show was just 100% reggae. So those would be some great memories. And joining KISS in 1990, when KISS got its legal franchise, and I've been there ever since. 18 years later, I'm still there, and I'm still enjoying it, as I did when I first started broadcasting in 1978, which was on BBC Radio London.
Come now, watch no eyes. 'Cause them can't reach me eyes. Now talk slack.